Lesson 8.4, Fractions of a Whole. Essential question. How does a fraction name part of a whole? Unlock the problem. The first pizzeria in America opened in New York in 1905. The pizza recipe came from Italy. Look at Italy's flag. What fraction of the flag is not red? Okay, we need to name equal parts of a whole. So, a fraction can name more than one equal part of a whole. So since the flag is divided into 3 equal parts, and 2 parts are not red, the green and the white are not red, it would be 2 parts not red out of 3 equal parts in all. So the way we'd write that is 2 out of 3, 2/3. The numerator is 2 because there are 2 parts that are not red, and the denominator is 3 because there are 3 total parts. So the way you'd read that is 2/3, or 2 parts out of 3 equal parts. And the way you'd write that is 2/3. So 2/3 of the flag is not red. Okay, math idea. When all the parts are shaded, one whole shape is equal to all of its parts. It represents the whole number 1. So there's 2 ways to write it. If all 3 parts were shaded, and we were talking about all 3 parts, we could write it 3 out of 3, which would be 3/3, or we could just write it as 1 whole. 3/3 is equal to 1 whole. Okay, again, I think we talked about this a couple times already in the other lessons, but the numerator tells you how many parts are being counted. That's the number on the top. And the denominator tells you how many equal parts are in the whole thing, or in the whole group. That's the number on the bottom, the denominator. Okay, you can count equal parts such as sixths to make a whole. So this would be 1/6. If 2 were shaded in, that would be 2/6, 2 out of 6. 3/6, 3 out of 6. 4/6, so we could put 4 as the numerator. 5/6, so that would be 5 as the numerator. And then 6/6 would be 1 whole. So if we wrote 6/6, we could write equals 1 whole, or equals 1. Okay, turn to the next page. On the next page, we need to write the missing word or number to name the shaded part. So here we have 2 out of 6 shaded, 2/6. So the way we'd write that would be 2, T-W-O, sixths. Letter B, we have 5 out of 8 shaded, so we'd write it 5/8 as a fraction. And then as words, we'd write 5/8. For letter C, we have 2 shaded out of 1, 2, 3 total. So that would be 2 out of 3, or 2/3. And for letter D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 are shaded, so 6 out of 6. 6/6. Or you could say 1 whole, since that's the whole shape. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try this share and show on your own, and then come back and check your work to make sure you got everything right. Number 1, shade 2 parts out of 8 equal parts. So there's 8 parts here, we need to shade 2. So the way we'd read that, we have to fill this in, would be 2/8. And then the way we'd write it as a fraction would be 2 out of 8. 2/8. Okay, mathematical practices before we go on. What did the numerator and denominator of the fraction tell you? Remember, the numerator tells you the number of parts that are being counted, and the denominator tells you the number of equal parts there are in the whole thing, or in the whole group. Okay, for 2, 3, and 4, we need to write the fraction that names each part, and then we need to write a fraction in words and in numbers to name the shaded part. So, number 2, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So each part would be 1/4. Now we need to tell how many parts there are total, which would be, how many parts are shaded, which would be 2 out of the 4. So that would be 2/4. And the way we'd write it as a fraction is 2 out of 4. Sorry, that doesn't really look like a 4. 2/4. Number 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each part is 1 out of 6, 1/6. And we have 3/6 shaded. And then we write that as a fraction as 3/6, 3 out of 6. And number 4, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, so each part is 1/4. There are 3/4 shaded, and the way we'd write that as a fraction is 3/4, 3/4 that way. Okay, go ahead and do the rest of the math lesson on your own. Just be sure to ask for help if you need it.